Joe Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at Cobra Commander, Enemy Leader, as he appears in G.I. Joe, the movie towards the end. Or does he? We'll get into that. This is the final portion of the newest wave of ReAction Plus figures from Super 7. And I would once again like to point out that if you check out the Brian Flynn panel from Joe Fest that I live streamed right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, he addresses the accusations of AI as far as the card art goes. I actually like, this might be my favorite card art from this wave. You know, we've got a little difference here in the glove hand that's on the figure versus what's in the art, but I actually really like this art. I think this one strikes more of a happy medium between the animation and traditional card art than a lot of the others, but that's easier to do when you've got a monstrous face like this and you're not trying to capture a more humanoid portrait. Very excited about this figure. It's to me, this is the most exciting one of the wave, of a very exciting wave, just because it is such a wacky thing, and this is the format that I wanted this character. Hasbro's classified release is phenomenal, but I don't really want Sunbow stuff in classified as much as I love Sunbow. This is the format I prefer for it. So I'm glad Super 7 is finally able to fulfill that desire. Back of the card, nice thick card back. Oh, and this comes courtesy of Yorktown Joe. Go check out Yorktown Joe on Instagram. Incredibly kind and generous to get this to me very quickly. I really, really appreciate it. You've got the cross-sell on the back here. Of course, you can see the rest of the figures in this wave, which have all been reviewed right here on the channel. Collect them all. You know I will. You don't have to tell me even once, quite frankly. You've got a card back here that is Cobra Commander's Cobra-La background. So that's really nice, a newly written thing. So let's open it up and take a look at the figure. So there are some images. I'm going to go ahead and share them right here so I don't forget, because once I get talking about the figure. So right here we see some images of Cobra Commander as he appeared in G.I. Joe the movie. And what you'll notice looking at these images is that what the figure is not really lining up with any one point in time in the movie, because neck down, when he looks like this, he still has his faceplate and his helmet on. And then after he loses his faceplate and his helmet, he doesn't have the glove or the right lower pant leg anymore. He's got two reptile feet, as you see in the image where Roadblock is carrying him. Now, I will say this, I don't care. This is cool. That's not a big deal to me. I also don't need, 5 different Cobra Commanders turning into a snake figures. Okay, well, I'll take that back. I would love to have that as like a box set. That would be great. But also, I don't need it. I'm fine with having sort of a middle ground thing here. Yeah, it would have been nice. Well, we'll take a closer look at it when we get into it. So this is sort of a mashup of different stages of his transformation from G.I. Joe the movie. It's not 100% screen accurate. It's also a little greener. He is much more sort of golden, and I like the green, don't get me wrong, but it's just not quite right. Of course, it could also be said that if this figure had come out in the 80s, that it most likely would not have been completely accurate. But I will say Super 7 has made a point of getting these things right. So it would have been nice to see a more golden yellow color. Looks like he's got the right size O-ring. Let's go ahead and do a little zoom in here while I'm taking a close-up look. He includes the spore, which is awesome and something that I would have loved to have when I was a kid, but I also would have been terribly creeped out by, because I am body horror is not my favorite thing in the world. There we go. You can see all the detail there. And the body horror, which we've talked about many times on Audible Interlude, it almost looks like that is a separate piece. Sorry, I'm so zoomed in, I'm getting out of frame. I wonder if we might see, because look, that little top part looks like a separate piece. I wonder if we might see this bottom part again with it opened up. Interesting. I'm hoping you can see what I'm looking at in the video, that the image is good enough, but this little right here is a separate piece of plastic. But it is not, as far as I can tell, removable. But I bet we see this portion of this used again. But great piece, creepy, 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 creepy. As for Cobra Commander himself, the sculpting, well, as we've pointed out, this wave, they now have the ball-jointed necks that people were wanting. And that portrait is, we'll go ahead and just zoom back in on that. I mean, it's great. I love that they sculpted the tongue out. That's so much more interesting to me than if they had not. That's the look that I want. I want everything in this ReAction Plus line, everything that's based on the Sunbow, I want it to be its most Sunbow-y. So I want his tongue out. I want like the most toyetic, cartoony version of whatever it is we're getting. So it's interesting, you know, looking at this leg. Obviously, here we'll do this because we got, whoa, I did not even intend to start him breakdancing. So here is the first release of Cobra Commander that we got in the line. I just wanted to see if the blues matched up, and they pretty much do. So, you know, you've got some parts reuse here, which Super 7 is more sparing with than I think people realize. They don't reuse parts as much as they could. I have tons of Super 7 figures that I've reviewed here on the channel where I have noted, like, this is new tooling. They could have just used these boots or this leg or whatever and gotten away with it, and they didn't. They did new tooling. But here, you know, this is the same leg, this is the same thigh, and that's fine. Everything else is new. And at first glance, I thought, oh, well, maybe they left this glove on and it's just this painted green at the top, but it is not. As you can see, there's damage to that glove all the way around. So that is a newly tooled hand. So I think my guess is that this just makes a more interesting figure. By having it asymmetrical with this leg intact, this glove on here, it's more interesting than if he was just snake, 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 snake. You know, 4 points of completely balanced mutant snakeness. That's just my guess. And is it the right call? I mean, that's going to vary by your personal opinion. For me, it is, because this is more toyetic. Just like that tongue, that's more interesting to me as an action figure. I love how they've got the tear going around the belt. The belt, really sharply sculpted detail. The untouched portions of the uniform, I mean, it all look great. He's got his creepy little foot. And then his scaled belly. And again, just the sculpting looks really nice. Everything is well defined, looks good. You understand what's happening with this character. Now, I will say, and I guess I'm just going to have to say it in every review because not everybody watches everything, I do not prefer the silver rivets. I wish they were colored to match the figure, but they're not. And now, you know, the bigger this line gets, the less I'm going to care about it, because then it's just going to be a whole line that was just the design choice that was made. Because to me, these do not mix. Nothing mixes with the original Real American Hero figures. That's just its own collection, and nothing will ever be added to it. So this Super 7 Reaction Plus is the Sunbow collection, or, you know, with a couple of comic book things here and there. But this is its own line. This is not meshed with anything else. So they only have to match each other. And as I said, the more of them there are, the less I will care that you know, aesthetic isn't what I would have preferred. So you can get into a nice seating position. If you've got, I have to assume we're going to have a roadblock really soon to carry this guy. Here, let's go ahead and just get weird. We're here. We're at Needless Things. We do stuff like this. So as you can see, he's got a nice little grip there to go around a character's neck. So once we've got a roadblock, it'll be roadblock carrying him instead of, weirdly, Cobra Commander. All right. And I also like, I meant to point this out, I like that he's just Cobra Commander, enemy leader. Like, that's great. They did not feel the need to call him once a man Cobra Commander, because that's not a title. That's just something he says in the cartoon and an identifier that people have used. But it is not an official title for him. He is still, well, I don't know, I guess he's not really the leader anymore. But, you know, he's still Cobra Commander. So there you go. The newest, the latest and greatest. Hopefully I will be finding a Python Patrol Cobra Commander soon. I like the differences between the Reaction Plus version and the Reaction version. We will be comparing them once I get my hands on the Reaction Plus one, which hopefully will be, you know, pretty soon here, and I'll be reviewing it. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. Oh, here, I totally forgot to mention this. Sorry. I love the Spore so much. However, nobody can hold it. I mean, this would be, well, he wouldn't be holding it. It would have been shoved in his face. So actually, we'll need a Nemesis Enforcer figure to hold it. But like, it's just this, it's just a big soup. You put some French onion soup right in the middle of that thing. Delicious. But yeah, there's no way to hold it. And I don't know exactly what you would have done. I mean, back in the day, I guess there probably would have just been a peg sticking out of the bottom. But that is weird. I don't know. As the line goes forward and we see releases that are meant to go with this Cobra Commander, maybe we'll see how that's going to be handled. So anyway, there you go. Cobra Commander, enemy leader, as he's seen in G.I. Joe the movie. Available now. You can order him anywhere. Super 7, Entertainment Earth, Big Bad, whatever. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share. And until next time, we'll stick with a buy what you like here.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.